Volcarona, the 637th entry in the national dex. According to
Dr. Lava here.
Ken Sugimori in an interview originally published 2011 of Japanese magazine Nintendo Dream, then later on translations which were produced by
Dr. Lava here.
That Volcarona originally had 4 wings. What if Volcarona was actually originally Gen 4? But the design wasn't completed by Gen 4 release, and so Volk got pushed to Gen 5? I say this because Ken said they hadn't made a moth Pokemon in a while. But look, Gen 3. What is Dustox and Beautifly? Butterflies. But also, don't these looks like moths? Dustox is based off of 2 months. Moths. That means at least 2 months. That means at least 2 moths? Oh shit. That means at least 2 moths. And you might be thinking, oh, but this is about Gen 5, not in between 3 and 4. Then what the fuck is this? Is that not Moth in his name? Released in Gen 4? Seems odd to me unless somehow Mothim was Gen 3. Scrapped. Set aside. Then for Gen 4, they didn't design any new moths. But they did slip in Mothim, an old design. And then for Gen 5, they wanted to do another moth Pokemon. Because they hadn't done one in a long time. Not like in their previous game or anything. Could Mothim being an older design, presumably, account for the long time since a bug motif? Cause hello? Moth motif Pokemon were available in Gen 3, 4, and 5. At least. Which, not a long time in between moth Pokemon. Unless they mean internally. Oozing that fire Bagussi should have been a legendary typing, Volcarona is the first fire and first bug Pokemon to be classified under the Sun category. Introduced originally in Black and White's Relic Castle, Maze End, at level 70 by interacting. Water 2 times, Flying 2 times, Rock 4 times. Resistances, Grass 0.25 times, Ice, Bug, Ussy, Steel, and Fairy. Volcarona, aka the Sun 2.0, is powerful enough to pass through volcanic ash and reignite the atmosphere, effectively acting as a replacement after an event caused the atmosphere to darken, scattering burning scales that rob the surrounding air of oxygen, like my wallet does my bank account. Harmless if you steer clear of the sea of fires surrounding their battles. With their ember scales scattered about, like ash, these scales fall as Volcarona flies. Ancients feared Volcarona, giving them the Rage of the Sun as a Poke Contest ribbon. Some might say they're trying to rescue those that suffer in the cold. Emerging from hatching out of a flaming cocoon of raging flames, ancient murals depicted second sun type as a fire Bagussi deity, a deity of fire Bagussi, an embodiment of a deity of fire, body warming technology. The sun, to save Pokemon from freezing during an especially bitterly ass cold winter. Revered not so much in hot parts of the world, but loved in Antarctica's Ussie. Like a moth to a flame, literally flaming Mothorona may be based on the Atlas moth, which looks like snakeheads on the tip of the wings, or the Cecropia moth, which has a similar body and 4 of these instead of 6. Maybe the original design was more influenced by Cecropia's pattern, since the original concept has 4 wings instead of 6, right, Ken? Yes. Another moth of possible influence would be the Prometheus silk moth, which makes sense for Prometheus being a Titan god of fire. But I'm not personally seeing too much resemblance to the female Promethea titanus. But when we flip over to the male version, we see here Bat Moth, just posing, chilling. Photoaxis is not correct. The word is actually phototaxis. The explanation is a lot of words. So basically, organisms, their whole organism asses, use light to move towards or away from the stimulus. Like an ancient Uber on a Friday night after some volcanic activity. If you were to ask me what kind of plant could possibly resemble a god moth that doesn't hang out in flames but makes the flames that like to be of moths, we'd be looking at tigers. Lilies, more specifically, Lilium lancifolium. Is that fancy linoleum pattern? Which look to have black spot patterns similar to sunspots on the sun in spots, which is directly referenced by Sugimori in the same interview that is missing time. Where is the time? Hathor, I guess, and Seraph, Burning One. 6-winged lemon pepper piece with Volcaro Ranch, please. Wings only, no legs. Volcarona, the name, may be a combination of volcano or Vulcan, a Roman god of fire and volcanoes. Is that volcano squared now? And Corona, which is not 2020 or beer, actually has to do with what is called the sun's corona, which is the outermost layer of a star's atmosphere. I feel like I did know this, I just did not know this. The sun is a star, in case you forgot or didn't know. Well then, Olgamoth. The Japanese name comes from volcanus, same as before. And moth, same as interview? What the hell does he mean? So they added moth in the name, did they? Oh, but just in the English. That's a hot tamale. Maybe that's why they forgot to made the Pokemon moth literally last gen. Ramoth? You know the scale flutter goes raw in the moth. What the fuck is that referencing? I think the shiny form is interesting here, as the wings on the back... Oh, hang on. Let's bask in the glory of the shiny form first. Oh, glory to Spanish King or something. The wings on the back get a much more pale, brightish orange, and the lower body turns a darker blue-purple shade. What if this coloring is an older frostbitten Volcarona? Pokiffle. Silver powder. 100% pure, can be found on Volcarona all the time as a wild hold item. Except in Gen 6, where Volk isn't a wild Pokemon. They then, Game Freak, brought the special powder, silver powder back, so that gets a pass. But then in Gen 9, where Volcarona can be encountered in the wild. No silver powder. What the fuck? From Larvesta, at level 59, you can get your very own mini sun in your balls, in a ball. Or be a real trainer and catch yours at level 35. Volcarona comes in at 5'3" or 1.6 meters. That's 3 feet taller than Carl, at least. Weight, 101.4 pounds, or 46 kilograms. Abilities, Flame Body. Flame Body has a 30% chance of inflicting burn when being touched with a physical contact move. Hidden ability, Swarm. When HP is 1/3 and below, bug moves power increase by 50%. Volcarona can use Fly, one of only 3 bug-type Pokemon in the series that can. A non-flying type, Fire Bagust, with 6 wings. Atypical. Subscribe for more Volcarona thoughts. Oh, and is one of 3 Pokemon categorized as a Sun Pokemon. Does that mean we have 3 simultaneous canon universes, each with their own sun? This burning ball of bug is potent enough to replace the sun, we've learned. Drawing, having been drawn twice, inspirations of the Olga Moth, Atlas Moth, and Cecropia Moth, and Moth Squared, Promethea, silky smooth god of volcanoes and possibly Roman, the alone I am the burning one, Seraph Tiger Sunspot, Lily Whore Hat. That's Hathor backwards, sort of split. Headpiece. Did we forget one? Photaxius Titanus Volcarona.